All right. All right. So I'm going to give just a very quick backstory on how the community group even got started for those of you who are new. And maybe if you're not new, maybe you don't even know how. But when we all started this business back in March, we realized that there really was a need for like a really hop-in testimonial group. There were other testimonial groups out there, but if I'm being honest, they were underutilized. And because of that, the groups were dead. Like you see like a really amazing testimonial and it'll have like 2 comments. Like that tells you like the group just wasn't being utilized heavily. It wasn't active. So we saw that there was a huge need for it. And we knew that it was going to be cumbersome to start one, but we wanted to get it going, and we did start one. It was called Q Life, not Quintessential Life Community. It was just called Q Life, and we hit the same roadblocks that every other leader hit, and it was just not being utilized. So then the parties, they kind of got started, and we started doing those once a month, except for the first, it was either two, I think it was the first 2 months, maybe. They made new groups each month. And what that does is it leaves warm leads in the dust. So like you get like all these people hyped up for this event and you get them all funneled into this group. Picture, if you've ever been invited to, I don't know, a pampered chef party or one of those parties and they're hosted on Facebook, you get your friends into a group for like a couple days and then you move on with life. Well, it leaves those warm leads in the dust. And I had taken a training called ATM when I was with another company. And I realized like what we were doing was really awesome, but leaving the warm leads in the dust was like literally defeating the purpose. Because here's the thing, people might see something a month from now, 6 months from now. Honestly, you never know. But if the group goes dead, then it's not going to work out for you. They need to be continuously fed the information. So in May, we decided to keep the group, one group. We stopped doing a new group every single month, but it was still very focused on our monthly party because the ambassadors were not utilizing it every single day. And then something pretty magical happened last month. All of a sudden it clicked. And a lot of people realized the value of this group and what we had going on in the group, and they started utilizing it every single day. And so now we can simmer down on having those events and really ramp up just daily utilization. I want you guys to see this Facebook group literally as your personal VIP group on steroids, because that's what it is. You guys, it's literally a VIP group that you don't have to do all the work because other people are contributing to it, number one. And number two, it's third-party validation on steroids, because instead of one person confirming what you're saying, you might have a dozen or more. So I'm going to take you through the training that I took. I took this training when I was in another company because I was really wanting my team to be successful. And this training is amazing. It just didn't apply to clothing. It would never have worked. I see Cindy shaking her head. She's like, no, this totally would never have worked where we were before. But it really works well in the health and wellness world. And it makes sense because the person who came up with this method of using a funneling group as a collaborative effort within the organization itself, they're in a health and wellness company. So it definitely makes sense on why that's doing so well, because he's in our world. So I am going to share my screen. I actually have slides, which is so awesome because visuals are helpful. And we will get rolling. And all right, we want to do this, just present. Okay. All right, here we go. And the first couple slides, some of you might already know all of this, but considering some are new, I'm going to kind of take you through this part just in the beginning because some of it's even in rules and that kind of thing. So these questions on here are literally why we have this group. Struggling to invite to op calls is a big thing, especially this summer. And honestly, who agrees? Raise of hands. Our world is a little crazy right now and people just are focused on some other stuff, right? Getting people to go to a Zoom call right now is hard. Also, when you think about it, if they're already in the group and we live stream in the group, then they're going to continuously get fed the information over a period of time. So if you're struggling to invite to op calls and reaching out, this is going to help you tremendously. Also having access to testimonials. When we just had the op calls, when this wasn't a thing, the only way for your prospects to hear a testimonial was to get on a Zoom call. And here there's endless testimonials. Okay. And you get to tag them in them and they can see them whenever they want. It's kind of making this about them, not about you, which is really, really awesome. And the other thing that was pointed out to me recently when I was talking to another team about what we're doing, you guys, this is really showing the Q culture, because the Q culture is collaborative. I have so many people when they first jump on board that are floored how multiple leaders help them, because it's not normal in other companies. That's not a thing, right? Well, showing that we work together in cross-line teams and it's a true collaborative community effort is very inspiring for a lot of people. And so this group has the potential to be really, really great if you utilize it properly. Okay. So again, the purpose, the third-party validation, frequent content exposures. Again, it's going to slowly trickle out to them over time. And we're going to talk about other ways that you can really ensure that they're going to see things over time. And we want it to be like motivating and inspiring too. We really want to have it be a true community. We are going to try to give tips for just healthy living, tips on self-care have been done a bunch of times. And I know when my girl Melissa has a chance, because her life has been pretty crazy recently, she's going to try to do fitness classes. If anybody watching though is like into fitness and you want to go live and literally just give them like a little nugget of like some fitness things that they can do from home, I think that would be amazing. We want that kind of stuff in the group too. Okay. Because we want it to be a place these people enjoy being. And it's not all about like talking about Q sciences. We want to add value to their life in other ways as well. Okay. Rules. We used to have a like ambassador only planning group, and it still exists, but we haven't been adding everybody into it anymore. And it's just one more group. And honestly, we're all adults here. So this presentation that I'm showing you right now, I'm actually using when I'm onboarding somebody. That way they get all of the information, including the rules for the group right in their onboarding process. And it's you guys, we're all adults here, but if you want to take a screenshot of it to save it just in case for later, some are, things that we're highly recommending and others are like hardcore rules. The two that I need to touch on, poaching, obviously, I again, we're all adults here, but you would be shocked at like what people just don't understand sometimes. That would be like actually reaching out to somebody that you didn't invite to the group and like trying to recruit them. Like, obviously that's not cool. We can't do that. But also in the lines of poaching, like we never drop our link in the group. That's a big thing, you guys. Sorry, I clicked the wrong button. You never want to be dropping your link in the group. That is saved for Messenger and Messenger only. If you have somebody asking for something, we want to get them in touch with the person who invited them. So like, just like this common courtesy stuff. So I'm not going to go through like every single thing with you guys, but the poaching rule and then the compliance rule are probably the two most important ones. You guys, we don't want our group to get shut down, and compliance is in there. And what I'm noticing is they really pay very close attention to things that are in like writing form. Videos seem to not be a big deal, but when it's physically written out, they really are paying attention. So if you have questions on what you can and can't say, just ask. We want to be there for you. What's nice is it is set to post approval. So that being said, like if you say something that's not right, hopefully one of the admins will catch it before it gets posted and compliance says anything. And we might just ask you to tweak a few words, but we don't want the group to get shut down because of too many things that are out of compliance. So just keep that in mind. Take a screenshot of this, save it for yourself. But I mean, most of them are pretty self-explanatory. All right. And now we're going to get into like the actual training portion of this. Again, this is what I learned from John and Nadia Melton. I just love this couple. They're a power couple. I still take their trainings. They're really, really awesome. I highly recommend that you follow him. But he created the first ever funneling group for network marketers because he realized that it was a duplicatable system. We talk about duplication here all the time. It's literally part of the culture is to teach duplication. And he believes in time freedom and not reinventing the wheel. Like, why would you constantly like repeat the same thing when you could just have the content stored and plug people in? And that is what he believes in. And that is his system. And his Facebook funneling group is over 100,000 members. And we're going to get there. You guys, we're approaching 10,000 members. How awesome is that? It's so, so cool. So ATM stands for add, tag, message, but it's not as simple as that. And I'm going to tell you where people are going wrong throughout this training. And there is going to be a major Q&A at the end. This definitely would be time where I would be busting out the notebook though, and just jotting down some notes, because there is very specific things that go along with each segment of this ATM method. Okay. So adding them is not as simple as just adding them. Number one, you want to ask for permission. We have seen as admins, people mass adding to the group. That is not recommended. Nobody likes that nowadays. And to be honest, if you're just mass adding to the group, these people have no idea what they have been added to. And the reason why we know that people have mass added is we'll see one person's added like 50 or 100 or 200 people. That is not proper utilization of the group. So you want to ask their permission, but it goes a little step further than that. And I'm just going to hone in on some details right now. If you, let's say, post the link to the group, that is not inviting them to the group. And from an admin perspective, that is a huge disservice to you, because if you send them the link and they actually do join, we have no way to track who invited them. As an admin, if I'm on a computer, it doesn't work on my phone, but if I'm on a computer and I go to members, it literally tells me invited by, invited by, invited by. And if it doesn't say that, I know that they were just sent the link and I have no way to track it. So 6 months from now, when they're like, oh my gosh, like collagen launched or this launched or that launched and I'm ready now, I don't remember who added me to the group. If you added them the right way, we can track it. So you are going to ask their permission if you can add them, but you're going to go a step further. Ask them if they have a chance to accept the invite right now. Because here's the thing, maybe you're talking to them and they're at work. I don't know. I'm just throwing something out there. They're busy with the kids. They're homeschooling. They're dropping kids off at school, whatever. They're not available right this second. And you just add them to the group, or you click the invite button to the group. That is going to get buried in their notifications and they are never going to see it. So I ask them, do you have a chance to accept the invite to the group right now? Because until you accept the invite, I can't tag you in anything. And that's when they will be like, oh yeah, I can accept it right now. Let me go look for it. Or, oh, like wait an hour. I'm busy right now. You want to make this about them, not about you. So I like go these like extra steps in asking that question. And then I say, okay, you accepted the invite. Great. When are you going to have a chance to take a look at what I want to show you? Again, it's about them. It's not about you. So we're going to get to that part in the tagging part, but like these are little tiny things that make such a massive difference in their experience in the group. Now, how do you get them into the group? There's a couple ways that you can go about this. Bree has done some incredible trainings about like troubleshooting on inviting. And I think one was just live streamed into our Collaboration Facebook group this week. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend going to check it out. She is really, really great with troubleshooting. But I find like insane luck with my stories, because stories are where I highlight the various products that we have. And I always do some type of poll or a slider or ask a question, something, and they'll end up inquiring on one of my stories. And that is when I say, you know what, we have this really amazing community group. Thank you so much for participating in my poll or whatever, thank them for that. Would it be okay if I added you to our Facebook group so I can tag you in a few of my favorite things? I have never been told no by wording it that way. So you pique interest. And then when somebody expresses interest, instead of having word vomit and trying to handle the situation yourself, you are going to funnel them into the group as quickly as possible. And we're going to get to like next steps with that. But I just want to give you an idea of like what it feels like to get cornered. I had somebody post about the rest, and the rest is amazing. I love the rest. She had an awesome testimonial with the rest herself. Okay. And then somebody inquired and she tried answering their questions herself in Messenger by herself without any third-party help. And she got cornered because they immediately, without understanding the value that it had, without seeing other testimonials, without the third-party validation, asked her, how much is it? And you get cornered like that. That is not the system. The system is to pique interest. It is to connect to information. And then it is to third party if necessary. And so if she would have said, like, oh my gosh, like this stuff is changing my life, but I really want to show you a couple other testimonials. Could I add you to this group and tag you in a few? She wouldn't have gotten herself cornered. So just think about like, okay, if you're getting stuck, like where are you going wrong on this path? So response to inquiry, again, it's personalized based on how you pique the interest. There's an example on here, but really it's short and sweet, asking their permission. Can I add you? And it's very non-invasive. You're not asking them to join a 30-minute or hour-long Zoom call at a specific time. They really do have the ability to check it out on their own time, which is really, really awesome. I don't usually get people saying no, you guys. So just short, sweet, don't have some long-winded response, just get them in there. And then again, the timing is so imperative. Like, do you have time to accept the invite now? And then like the physical adding part is you clicking that invite button. And so just for those who don't know what I'm talking about, this is what I'm talking about. So you never send the direct group link. You are physically clicking this button, and that is what the admins are able to see, and they are able to track who invited who. Okay. All right, now we get into the tagging part, and this is going to get a little advanced. And I reached out to somebody today because I saw that she's on my team, and I saw that she tagged a prospect in a post that I happened to do. And the mistake that she made, and we're all learning here, and I mean, completely okay if you guys have done this too, and I've done it wrong as well. But if you can tag them and actually say a little bit more, make it personalized, and even better, if you can introduce them to a leader, oh my goodness, the difference that it makes. It is an icebreaker. It is a soft introduction. I want to let you know now that this person signed up, guys. She signed up, and I think she's going to be pro this week. And then this person is about to sign up, but she connected us in a way because we actually have the same like medical condition going on. Heather did a great job here. Like, shout out to Heather, like really utilizing the system well. And yes, this means it's going to be a little extra work, but I'm telling you, I have seen people just simply tag their name. That's not what you want to be doing. You want to go above and beyond. And I like to say that their experience in this group is a direct reflection of what it's going to be like to work with you as a leader. Heather goes above and beyond with her team. I know that. I work with her every day. And like this girl, like she has her stuff together. She is going to be one heck of an amazing leader once she gets moving, because she just started, but she is there for her people. And it shows from the moment she adds them to the community group. So are you going above and beyond when you're tagging, or are you just tagging their name? Okay. The other thing that I notice is people mass tagging, as in like they've just invited 10 people to the group and they tag them all in one comment. That doesn't make them feel special. That makes them feel like a number. And it's not a good reflection on what it would be like to work with you as a leader, because you didn't personalize it for them. This is a very personalized business. We work with people one-on-one more than we work in groups. I think you will learn that as you kind of go throughout the business. And starting out this way is going to be a game changer for you. So when you are tagging them, you want to be asking them, when do they have a chance to take a look? If it's just something that they need to read, you could be like, I'm just going to tag you in something that I want you to read real quick, or I'm going to tag you in a testimonial, but don't worry, it's only like 5 minutes. Or are you tagging them in one of the op calls that we've live streamed in? I can promise you one of your leaders has done an op call in this group, you guys, because I know I've done like 20 or more. I know Bree has done a whole bunch. Katie has done a whole bunch. There are a lot of leaders who have done a number of op calls. Jenna's op call is still in the group, and that was one where Jake was a special guest on it. Those already exist. And we're still live streaming something every single day into the group. So if you are going to ask them to watch something that's a little bit more lengthy, of course you want to know if they have time to take a look at it, because then it's going to get frustrating for you. Because when you do follow up with them, you're going to ask them if they've had a chance to take a look at it yet. And their answer is probably going to be no. Versus If you ask them, when will you have a chance to take a look? These are the steps people are missing. If they say, oh, I can look at it after I put my kids to bed tonight. Okay, great. What time is that? Because I'm not going to tag you in it until you have a chance to look, because it's going to get buried in your notifications. Facebook is crazy. And they'll be like, oh, okay, I put my kids to bed at 8. Great. At 8:30, I'm going to tag you, and then I'm going to follow up with you later tonight. Do you see what I just did there? I told them when I'm going to tag them. This means you actually have to do what you say you're going to do. And then I'm telling them, I'm setting the expectation that I am going to follow up with them later tonight, which puts just a little fire under them to do what they said they're going to do, because they know, oh man, she's going to message me later. I better take a look at this. Okay. So as far as how it's like all laid out, I want to make sure you guys do know, because this is new-ish. We have been making guides. They're not complete yet. Shout out to Heather Rudd. I think I'm so sorry, Heather, if I got the wrong Heather, but we have a wonderful team member taking hours out of her day. And I do mean hours, making these incredible guides. And I think we have maybe 5 or so guides up so far, and we are going to continuously add to it. But what she is doing is starting out with the info, following up with a bunch of different testimonials. And she's trying to pick like different testimonials and some of the best ones that we've seen. And then at the end of the guide, I think it's the product fact sheet, and like to encourage them to get back with the person that invited them. But if you're not familiar with guides, please go check it out, because it's a really great flow that they can go like one after the other. Instead of you tagging them in 10 different rest testimonials, you literally could just send them to guide number 1 that covers sleep support. Okay. And then product fact sheets live in albums. And I just want you guys to get out of the habit now. I don't know who is doing it, but I know it's very tempting to do. So I'm just saying, if you are sending your link to anybody before they have said yes, and before you have helped them pick their product, you're sending your link too soon. Many times people want to send the link because somebody has actually asked for it. Okay. And when that happens, they go to the site and they get confused. They see retail, they see preferred, they see ambassador. They don't know what to click, but retail is the first thing that comes to mind. They see that there's not a ton of products at their disposal. They see that the prices are higher than maybe what you've already talked to them about, and they peace out. They also don't know what they're looking at. So I blame our website. I'm like, you know what? Honestly, our website's a little confusing, and I send it when you are ready to actually do this, because I walk you through it. I hold your hand and I make sure that you understand what you need to click and what you need to add to your cart. But if you simply just want to look at everything at a glance, I have a perfect place for that. Can I add you to our community group? I'm going to tag you in all of our products that are in one album, so you can take a look all at one time. Maybe they need to take a look at ingredients. Maybe they have other questions. I don't know, but this is kind of like a place where you can funnel them without sending them your link prematurely. Okay. Now we're to the message part, the M of the ATM. It really is follow-up. You guys, the fortune is in the follow-up. And this one's kind of hard because it's very personalized. It depends on what you're talking to them about. It really, really does. It depends on if you've added them for product or if you've added them for business. So how you go about this is unique for each person. And I am going to suggest to you that you get with your leader and say, okay, this is what I've done so far. This is what I have tagged people in so far. And I'm about ready to follow up with them. This is what I know about them. What would be the best thing to say to either make sure they do become a preferred customer or they become an ambassador? And you can work with your leader through each individual person and figure out the best method for follow-up. But I'm telling you now, what you don't say is, do you have any questions? So we are getting that out of the way now. We are no longer saying, do you have any questions? And we are no longer just simply tagging their name in a post. We are going above and beyond with more details. Okay. And here is some examples. Again, it's personalized, but it might be able to help you get some ideas. When I'm talking to somebody in there and I am able to like introduce them to Katie, she's my sponsor. So maybe you're introducing them to me. Maybe I'm your sponsor. Maybe you tag them in one of my testimonials and you're able to say, this testimonial is amazing, but Allie's also my mentor. She's really excited to meet you. We have that soft introduction in comments. Then you can say, hey, I was chatting with Allie about you. She saw that I had tagged you in her testimonial. She's really excited to meet you. Would you have a chance for her to say hi? And we can get into a three-way conversation. But again, every single person is different. Every single situation it's just a little bit different. So it's just some post reminders. We already kind of went over what to do, what not to do. We want to stay in compliance. There's no such thing as too much content in this group. So I'm going to encourage all of you, if you haven't done something yet, to do something. I'm going to stop the share in a second. We're going to talk through some like last minute things. You can post a testimonial whenever you want. And if it isn't compliant, the admins are going to let you know. But you need to have a presence in the group too. What I find is some people are just utilizing the group as in tagging people, which is great, but they have no presence in the group. They haven't done a testimonial. They haven't done a video. They haven't been part of an op call. You need to have some type of presence in the group as well. It's very, very important. And then again, the follow-up is so important. Who here has an actual list of every single person they have ever added to the community group? I'm going to stop the share now so we can get to like questions. But I bet you a lot of you don't, and that's okay. It's totally okay. But we need to stop that. We need to make sure that everybody is keeping a running list, because otherwise you're not going to remember who to follow up with. And you might get a surprise 1, 2, 3 months from now that somebody that you added to the community group that you thought was just going to be a preferred customer has seen so many incredible business testimonials that they actually want to be an ambassador. And that has happened to me twice now, you guys. So let's do just a little chatting. Joanne has a list. I do. Yay. That's so awesome. You keep it on your sticky notes at your computer. Awesome. Yeah, you can keep it in just an old, like a notebook. You can keep it in a list on your computer or a list on your phone, but make sure you have a list. And I would go so far as to make columns. This is just a little bit more advanced, but I would say have a column for like somebody that you've invited to the community group. And then did they accept the invite? And then have you tagged them and have you gone through like the follow-up process? It just kind of expands your list out a little bit more. And obviously, like if they're not getting back to you right now, here's a little trick with getting them to see more things. Like if they're just kind of just sitting back and they're just watching, they haven't left the group, but they're not really responding to you in the follow-up all that well. The reason why you want to have a list of who you've added is, my friends, that is who you need to be engaging with on Facebook every single day. Meaning in the morning when you are, warming up your algorithm and you are engaging with people, instead of that like mindless scroll of just, scrolling and commenting on whatever, get out your list, physically go to their profile, engage with something that they have said recently, go to their stories, engage with their stories. And do this consistently with the people that you have added to the group. Because when you do something in the group, there is a really high chance that that person is going to have what you did in the group pop up in their news feed. Okay. So you need to be engaging with them outside of the group in order for them to get more information from the group itself, funneling into their news feed each and every day. What about the people we've added when we've had parties? They should still be on a list. Absolutely. They should still be on a list. You should still be engaging with them. And here's the thing, like, it's not like you're going to close every single person you ever add to the group. My point though, is if you do follow up sporadically with them and you do engage with them outside of the group, they're just going to slowly get fed the information. And maybe something that we have right now isn't intriguing them, but maybe when the terpenes come out or the collagen comes out, they're going to be like, whoa, they have that now. That's awesome. So you never know. But if you are continuously engaging with them, when we do have something new and exciting happening, the odds of them seeing it are going to be really, really high. So how to go back and see who we have invited question, Lori, not really. However, you can go to members and then there should be a members that you're friends with section. Now, a lot of them are going to be probably Q Sciences ambassadors, but you could glean through that and be like, oh, I invited them. I invited them. There isn't really a way for you guys who aren't admins to see who's been invited but hasn't accepted the invite. The reason why we don't give those people the boot, because you can, as an admin, I could say, oh, like they haven't accepted the invite and it's been 3 weeks, like boot them out, because yes, it can impact the algorithm. However, our algorithm for this Facebook group is so high. You guys, like there's very few posts that don't at least have 20 comments, but a lot of posts end up getting over 100 comments. Our algorithm is so high. We actually have somebody that signed up just recently with Renee Ham, I think. She was invited to the group. She never accepted the invite, but because our algorithm is so good right now, this person was actually seeing some of our content and going, what is this? And she actually reached out to Renee. Now, if we as admins would have booted them out, we wouldn't have had that happen. She wouldn't have seen anything. So sometimes if it's just a really, really good group, Facebook still will push out content to those who have not yet accepted the invite. Make sense? Your list is the front cover of your notebook. Yay, Cindy. That's so awesome. I love that. Wasn't utilizing this group, didn't know how, and this has been super helpful. I'm so glad. Okay. Do you guys want to unmute? We will do like a little Q&A, do a little troubleshooting. I can stop the recording.